Spartan F Albion is live. Ha ha. Right, just got to check the this is an unplanned impromptu stream, therefore I have crap in the background. And I've got to check which volume, which device am I using. And I assume that I've turned the mic off temporarily. No, so I assume this is the mic that I'm using. Oh god, I don't think this is very good. Where's the control panel? That's just one person is viewing. No. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So what should we make this live stream about? Okay, firstly, I will impart you with the boring stuff. I'm going to look at technical crap, because I don't actually know. Oh, Marius is there. Hello, Marius. Hello. I'm doing this because well, this is a bit of a service announcement that I've entered the world of internet radio. This internet radio station, which is supposedly situated in Cheshire. Well, at least that's where the person who runs it is a collective of many. Let's be honest, that most of them are DJs, that is disc jockeys, or should we say? I don't want to say dick jockeys. So I will have to be. I've been told I need to play a lot of music. Marius, dear listener. Now, Marius, could you please, as you are my sole viewer, can you please tell me how does it sound? Can you hear me clearly or not? Marius is quiet. Yes. Okay. Yes. Good. Well, so this because it would be a dreadful calamity to very clearly. Oh, thank goodness. Yeah. So I did something I don't usually do. I'm using. Do you need to know this? Okay. Very clearly. So I for those of you, I think you know me. I do not apologise. I do not apologise for technical calamities, but I don't want them because I will be under the supervision of people in many countries, and I want to make my side look good. So about this radio station, let's start with the negatives, shall we? Which are quite funny. They're not very negatives. They call themselves a radio station. So in a community radio station based in Cheshire, which, of course, you don't know. Cheshire is. Let's get the map up. Now, if I were using the usual Google Hangouts, I would be able to use things like share screens. But as I press the broadcast directly to air thing, I don't have any of those fangled things. So I have to sort of I may even have to use the rather what I'm looking for. Who were they? Luddite type technology. A Luddite being a person who is averse to technology. I may actually have to point. I may point this at the screen, but I have a better solution. I have with me here. I have a conference pen and I have a whiteboard, and I will explain on the light what's that symbol on the bottom of the whiteboard is at a later date, because it is quite important. Okay, so I may have to draw a map of the UK. So this is virtually this is set in this radio station. It's called a community radio station, but it isn't even a radio station. I mean, I think I found a person I spoke to. Uh, it, it's like it's a little bit disorganized. He practically begged me to do it, but it's all experience, right? So I'm going to be doing that, and small updates for you who are listening. I started a part-time job working with at a stables, working with horses. So the whole that end, I'll show you which end. I'll show you a tour. This is a tour of the flats, in case you've forgotten. A panoramic tour. Is actually this flat is that's what it looks like outside. Very interesting. I may actually have this as my background. The entrance wing, of which I'm very proud of, the entrance wing, which starts around from about, I say wing in quotation marks. It starts from around, you see the file down. It sends to the screen with a file to quite a bit of space, but behind the door is the entrance wing, which actually is quite important. I try to keep it clear. I'm trying my very best to adhere to the rules, and I haven't perfected it. The Japanese domo rules of essentially not having a lot of accoutrements blocking the entrance. So directly in front of the grey door, which is actually, I mentioned something about door. It is a very sturdy door. And I can give you the proof. It's a very sturdy door for those of you who don't like this show and wish to break in, hang the DJ, so to speak. But yes, technically I am a DJ. The bathroom, which is actually larger than the entrance, quite larger than the entrance. It's actually, you would not believe, in comparison with this flat, the size of the bathroom. And it actually puts the rest of the place into shame. Similarly, it has orients. You can't see the tiles, but you will. So the entrance is quite important. I try to keep it free of ungainly accoutrements. So there's a lot of news. So I've started work there, and I find it it is very stressful. It's stressful beyond what I do. I clear away manure, which I thought would take up most of my employment tasks, right? My job description. There's a lot more to it, and the training thing is, so I have to be honest, what I was worried about is really what I fear. My fears realised. I am really drained. This particular stables, it's far more vaster than I imagined. Now, I've worked in the stables. I have to admit that I am somewhat older than the people who will be watching this. No, I am somewhat older than I look. I'm at least, let's say, 3 to 7 years younger than I look. Right, I'm 39. Happy birthday to me. Right, and it was exactly around 26 years ago that I had it was a compulsory unpaid position at a stables, and it was rather different in many ways, similar in other ways, but I considered it to be, they had a fair number of horses. It was minuscule compared to this. It has about, I haven't been able to count the number of horses that are there. And seemingly a few more staff working there. And this time I've actually been paid. I don't know, I haven't looked at the bank how much I've been paid, but I've been paid. The unfortunate thing is, it is a rehabilitation. It has an emphasis on rehabilitation. I'm not a criminal, right? Do I, Marius? I haven't ridden horses. They asked me whether I ride quite late into I've been there for 3 weeks. They asked me, and it feels like longer than 3 weeks, believe me. And I'll go into what is rather draining, but not too much. It's quite interesting. It makes it rather interesting. We would make it interesting, but for reasons that I'll go into more detail about, right? I have been asked if I ride horses. They did ask, and I may actually have a reason to ride them. I told them I rode horses many years ago, and I think I am pretty certain if I would sit on a horse, I would be able to ride. Now, I told one of my employers how they taught us to ride horses. I'm quite proud about this. It was my teacher, my boss, who was a strict, he was fair, but he was a strict bastard. He really put a lot of pressure on us, and I think too much pressure. He was in the military. He was a military officer, and he taught the Queen's Royal Guard how to ride horses. And he taught me what I assume is the trial by fire way. I was 16. I don't know if I've told Marius this. I may have told her a little bit. Him, he, she. I say he. I know who it is. I make nothing up. If you imagine how a circus performer would be taught to ride a horse, extremes of pressure. You are taught to ride a horse without a saddle, which is quite interesting for other reasons. So at the time, I was reading a comic called Shlaine, which should be my God, Shlaine, spelt Slaine with an accent over the I. It's Irish, Gaelic. It's Gaelic language. It's pronounced Shlaine or Shlaine. It's sort of a Conan the Barbarian, but good and based on Celtic mythology. And a lot more violent, if that's possible. A lot more sex than Conan. Written by Pat Mills, plugging him my native authors. The Celts the great insult to a Celt was suggesting they ride a horse on a saddle. But I learned to ride a horse without a saddle. And it also teaches to ride a horse without any hands and to ride it backwards without a saddle. So when it comes to having a saddle, it's like luxury. A funny thing is, saddles are. You've learned to ride a horse without a saddle. It's nice to have. The saddle is it's supposed to aid your comfort if you're going for a long ride. But as far as I can tell, it's for the horse's comfort. It really doesn't add that much to the comfort when you're doing that kind of dressage type, when you're running around the track and everything. I actually only saw as huge as this. I thought I'd seen all of this riding complex. It has an inside area for sort of when people are practicing dressage, when they have an area for competitions, which actually stinks worse than anywhere else in the whole. Even when it's it's not the shit that smells. Actually, I remember it's the urine. When you take away the layer of straw and sawdust away from it, the old urine is, as I said, urine, not urine. That's my original dialect. We pronounce it urine. Urine. It really, it's one of the worst smells ever. But I've got a second. I have kept this instinct. I'm actually holding my breath, actually holding my nose without actually holding my nose, and be able to breathe somewhat, and the mildest whiff of this, it closes up. No problem. It's second only to the stench of a colostomy bag. That's a bag full of shit. When someone's in, when someone has a stomy opening, when someone has they don't have an intestine, they have a bag, they have a colostomy bag. That is the worst smell. Believe me, this is so close to that. It is absolutely disgusting. So far, I haven't had to clear away the piss layer, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have to. I hope not. But if I do, I will, believe me, I'll do that as quickly as possible. It is really bad. It is really, really bad. It's so bad. I believe people actually did plug their noses when they did it. And yeah, this is so exciting. But there are quite a few people with certain and I can say this because I'm not in charge of them. They have some kind of learning difficulties. But my employers seem to have got made a mistake, and they seem to, I have reason to believe that they have under the illusion or delusion that I am mentally retarded. So they're repeating and describing things to me over and over again, and it gets to the point where and even telling me how to use a scale. And I said, I know how to use a scales, okay? I've done it before. I've used a scales. Things like that. And they seem to believe I'm retarded, and I don't have the heart to tell them I'm not retarded because they may not think that. But they seem to think that is the worst, that is the most draining part of it. It really drains me. But the work, I'm getting a lot out of it. At the end of each of these days, I feel fortified from it. And I'm building up quite a bit of muscle, which I didn't think naively didn't think I would. But I am. And I was quite proud that one of my employers said to me, Albie, that's my name, okay? Spartan F. Albion, they call me Albie. Albie, they said, you are stressing too much. You're working too hard. And I was quite proud of that, and I actually did. When I didn't need to, when they weren't watching me, I lifted more than I had to. And I have to I have to change clothes twice. I have to cycle there. So far it hasn't been too cold cycling, even though it's really cold cycling home. And I have to change clothes. and there are lots of really nice horses and animals and what else? What else are we going to talk about? I was talking about this flat. The whole entrance of flat smells of straw, which is very nice. But on the other hand, I want to get away from that work. I want to get away from there. And at times I sort of miss it. I miss being in the countryside, even though I'm very close to the countryside. And by the way, I'm not going to continue streaming this. I'm going to find the address of the station that I'm going to be streaming from. It's a very well organized schedule page, so you'll find it. And I'm going to put this in the description. And that isn't everything that I'm involved in. No. Some things are forthcoming. Oh boy! Now on this channel is going to be dedicated to some things in particular, and it will be that you'll see me, yes, but I may be. Shall I say? I may be in silhouette. Albie's got to go. Ah. Bye. It was very nice to hear from you, Marius. I do think about you. I was worried. I have been worried. I'm delighted to hear from Marius. And now, 2 people watching. Hello, world. So today, by the way, listeners, we've been talking about horses. We've been talking about stenches. We've been talking about online radio, and I've given the address to where I'm going to be broadcasting a phone-in and music show. Take this address down, and you'll be able to listen to my show. I'll be broadcasting. Oh, that's odd. Oh, I'm not broadcasting as Spartan F Albion. Oops, that was a mistake. Well, okay. So I'm broadcasting under a different name. So keep an eye out for anybody calls. Keep an eye out for Stephen S. Stella. He'll be there. I'll be there. Viewer, please make yourself known. Tell me who you are, where you are, so I can gauge the demographics. I was going to say, on this channel, maybe one of you have written down the name of this channel. I'm going to be doing scam baiting from this channel, and I'll be doing IRS pranking. I'll be doing a great deal of that. I am going to be specializing in 419 somewhat. My speciality is going to be romance scamming. So these people will be phoning up, and I'll quite possibly be in the guise of a homosexual man, or a middle-aged or rather naive young woman, or various women. I've taken lots of pictures off the internet of people who I don't think will be pestered by these scammers, and I'm going to lead this scum up the garden path. And this is the goal of scamming. The goal of scamming is to put them on the safari, to get them on the safari. Now, a safari is where you send a scammer. Now, scammers, 419 scammers, I will go into detail I'll detail what they are. That means advanced fee fraud. So what a 419 is, I'm certain that Marius knows what it is, but there are probably quite a few scammers in Pakistan, but largely it's in Western Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, and such. 419 is the code, is what we know it as scam baiters. It's advanced fee fraud, which means so someone will call you up and say, "Oh, I have this diamond mine. I have this trunk box full of money, but I need you to help me. I need you to pay for my travel. I need you to send this amount." So you send this amount, then they'll ask for another amount, or most of the time they'll just disappear. 90% of the time, and those odds are quite good, 90% of the time you will not get them on the phone. Now, though it's very entertaining to read their emails, which I will, what I aim to do is have these people on air, live, or recorded. The live is interesting because then you can take prompts, and I will mess them around. Because when you're messing these scammers around, they aren't working. They aren't just defrauding people. Now, these people, don't feel sorry for them. Do your own research, right? They will rob people blind. They will take away all the money one has in the world. They have actually been responsible for people committing suicide. They've been absolutely ruined. They have nothing. They've been out on the street. And romance scammers, they target usually the lonely, often middle-aged people. They target disabled people, and they fill their hearts with hope, and they just wish to bleed them dry. And if I can have a little bit of fun with them, I think that's very good. I think it's a good service. The police, even in developed countries, they don't focus on this. They have, they have their money, their resources are stretched to the limit, right? They don't focus on this. This is classed as petty crime. I mean, I really now have new listeners. That was fun. Thank you, and goodbye. I wonder who it was. So we got a lot of dead air. Well, yeah, this was fun, sort of. Yeah. My heart isn't in it.